thank you all for being here. It's always a crapshoot when you have an event in January, but the gods smiled on us. I hear the temperatures might even approach 40 today, so hooray, this is a great way to kick off that day. Why did we pick retail for this particular forum? Well, there are actually a lot of reasons, but I'll share a very personal reason with you right now, and that is because I am an expert shopper. We do all kinds of topics on these business forums. I'm never an expert in any of them, but I'm so excited because I know a thing or two about retail. I've been a shopping maven for a long time, so that's one reason. But the real reason is that we just concluded the holiday shopping season, and nationally it was a pretty robust performance for online retailers and for bricks and mortar retailers. And interestingly, in Maine, we're 6 months into our new fiscal year, and our sales tax revenue is running about 6% ahead of what the projections were. So people are doing more buying than anyone expected, at least since the beginning of since July 1st. And what that means is there's now hundreds of millions of extra dollars in the state coffers that nobody was expecting. That, of course, has repercussions in terms of our income taxes and maybe municipal revenue sharing and school funding formulas. So retail has a lot of tentacles, and so having a robust retail sector here in the state is important. It's important for another reason, too. 3 of our top 5 employers in Maine are retailers. We're really lucky. We have 2 people representing 2 of those with us this morning. But when you're an employer in Maine and you have 5,000 or more employees, you have significant impact on the economy, not just in your payroll, but in the taxes you pay locally, the kind of community programs you support. It goes on and on. So having the well-being of our retailers really affects the well-being of the state of Maine. So that's why we selected this topic. And it's interesting what kind of innovation retailers are testing and adapting nowadays in order to remain relevant, in order to attract new customers but keep their existing ones. I don't know if any of you attended the Maine Real Estate Development Association forecasting conference last week, but they had a whole presentation on the retail real estate sector. And Karen Rich, who's a commercial broker with Malone, presented on retail. And she said what's interesting is that the conversation has changed. It used to be bricks and mortar versus e-commerce. Now it's bricks and mortar and e-commerce, and that they are adapting on both sides. We certainly know about a lot of traditional bricks and mortar retailers who have online presence now, but there have been some like Bonobo and Warby Parker who have established bricks and mortar stores after having begun as online-only enterprises. So today we have some real experts who are going to share their thoughts and their expertise with us. Our custom is that this is a conversation, and so I encourage the panelists to comment on each other's observations. We'll take questions from the audience as they occur, but we will have a Q&A portion of the morning in about 45 minutes or so. So without any further ado, let me introduce everyone. And I have to refer to my notes because everyone has a complicated title this morning. So to my immediate left is Matthew Bray. So Matt is the head of Community Happiness for Grove Collaborative in Portland. You may not know this company. It's a relative startup. It's based in San Francisco. But they are an online-only enterprise, and they sell predominantly personal care and household consumer goods. They are a certified B-Corp, and if you know anything about that, it means they go through this rigorous sustainability testing, everything about them, from the sourcing of their products to the production of their products to the fact that when they ship something to you, they buy carbon offsets for the gas consumed to bring a product to your home. And what surprised me, and I didn't know this, is that Grove Collaborative has about 50 people here in the Portland area on its payroll. They're predominantly Grove guides, and these are like personal shoppers who will help you navigate and find the best products for your particular home, your particular lifestyle. So I was online just checking it out the other day. They have a great sale on Myers soap, so if that's one of the things you use, you should check that out. So next to Matthew is Julie Libby. She is the Vice President of Fresh for Hannaford Supermarkets, and she oversees the departments that include fresh produce, meat, seafood, deli, and bakery. Her role involves procurement and replenishment of products, development of merchandising strategies, and sales development. She's been with Hannaford for about 15 years, and Hannaford is one of those top employers in Maine. They have more than 5,000 employees here. And then next to Julie is Greg Elder. So Greg is the Vice President of Retail, Outdoor Discovery Programs, and LL Bean for Business Division. He oversees LL Bean's 43 retail and 10 outlet stores spread across 18 states. We may need to update that, right, Greg? Do we need to update that?
No, that's accurate.
So Utah's not in yet?
What's that?
So the Park City, Utah store is
that's included.
Included? Okay, yeah. Good. Then it's very current information. So he focuses on store operations, visual presentation, and customer experience. He's been with LL Bean for about 11 years. He was with Eddie Bauer before then. So he's got a tremendous breadth of experience here. And as you all know, LL Bean is also one of our top employers in the state. So that said, let's get the ball rolling. And as I said, the overarching thing is how are retailers using innovation to bring in new customers and to keep their current ones? It seems to all focus on convenience and how you can customize the shopper or the customer's experience with your product. So here's the first question. I'm asking each of our panelists to describe a typical customer and how they envision the ideal future customer. I think that will give you a sense of who they cater to right now and how they see themselves strategizing for new customers. So Matt, why don't you get the ball rolling?
First of all, thanks to the Portland Press Herald for having us here today. This is great. It's funny because I'm up here with LL Bean in Hannaford and then like the other guy. So I'm really happy to be here today to be talking to you from the e-commerce part. I am wearing a Patagonia jacket, and I apologize for that. We're a San Francisco-based company, but I am wearing an LL Bean shirt, and I wear one every day. My staff can attest to that. So I love
We're going to do something about that Patagonia jacket after this session.
And by looking at me, obviously I have found Hannaford, so don't worry about me. Look, our typical customer, our CEO says it best. She's someone who cares about her home and cares about her family. She cares about her planet and cares about her world. And I think that those are really, really important things that all of us can relate with, and something that we as a company really truly try to embody. If we're going to separate ourselves in a world of other e-com companies, we have to be genuine and authentic. And that's something that our customers hopefully feel that. They feel that that's who we are. When they call in or when they email or text us or catch us on Facebook, they're able to talk to someone who is a real person that can answer their question. Really, not just give them, the normal standard line or, well, show me proof of the damaged product. We're looking for someone who wants to have a back and forth with us. We enjoy that. We encourage that. That's why we're hiring so many people. We're at 50 today. We're going to be at 75 by the beginning of April. And the reason why we're adding all that headcount and the reason why we spend money on things like carbon offset credits and 100% customer guarantee so that we're giving away probably more stuff than we should is because we want our customer to believe that they're having an authentic experience from someone that cares about their business. And I think that that's something that it can be lost in e-com because they can't see, touch, or feel us. And that's something that we're working for. So hopefully that answers your question.
So you said she, so your customers are predominantly women?
I say she because Stu says she, and they are. I think that, that's certainly important. I think that we need to understand that females are a huge part of our marketplace. And I think a lot of times marketing, especially traditional marketing, has forgotten the female consumer. And it's really, really important that we focus on them.
Oh, thank you. Julie?
Thank you very much for having me. I don't think it's fair to follow the head of community happiness, but I will do my best to fill that task. At Hannaford, we certainly think of our customer in terms of families, busy families with busy lifestyles, and those that are looking to, they're really concerned with health, they're looking for healthy choices, a way to continue to live a healthy lifestyle. Our customers are concerned with their food dollar and how to get the most value for the food dollar that they have, and that really describes sort of a typical consumer for us. And as we look into the future, we know customers will continue to be more and more interested with digital and shopping online, and we're exploring all the opportunities of different delivery channels. We certainly feel that our customers are today and will continue to be ever more concerned in the future with both two spectrums that I'll probably speak to today of the experience of shopping as well as convenience, which you mentioned earlier. So I would say that really describes our typical customer today.
And if you didn't hear this, but I'm sure you did because you all read the business pages of the Press Herald carefully. Hannaford is opening a new store in the former Bookland in Brunswick, which I'm delighted about because I live in Harpswell, and so it's the closest will be the closest grocery store to me. And if you didn't know this, a lot of the experimentation that I think Julie's going to expound upon occurs at the Forest Avenue store. So that's where they try out some of their new concepts for enhancing the shopping experience, which I think is pretty interesting too. Okay, Greg, tell us about your typical customer and who your future customer is.
I'm sure a lot like Julie, our typical customer obviously is very diverse, but when we're thinking about product design, scaling our marketing efforts, and the curation of experiences, we tend to lean on three kind of foundational tenets, really psychographic tenets of our consumer. The first is they value function plus style. They appreciate quality products, they're methodical shoppers, and they really value kind of clever innovation. So that would be the first thing. The second is really the notion around time spent together in the outdoors and how that's really kind of changing the customer's perceptions. And then thirdly would be the idea of they're really energized in the outdoors, and there's no such thing as bad weather for them, but it's all about kind of collectively and together enjoying experiences in the outdoors. So I would say those are the things that really are our North Stars in terms of product design and experience design, if that makes sense.
So is the idea you're just going to try to attract more of those customers as opposed to a particular kind of customer, if your customer base is already diverse?
Yeah, I think it's both. It's really being targeted on the curation of products, marketing, and experiences towards those psychographics, and at the same time understanding what are the next generation or the millennial customer really going to be looking for in their experiences, which I think in many cases is going to be the same, but it also, based on their life experiences, is going to, I think, evolve quite a bit as well.
Okay, so then the natural follow-up to that is, so how are you innovating to draw in those new customers? And Greg, you might as well you've got the mic, you might as well keep going.
Yeah, it starts with product. Again, we're a product-based company, so we started over 100 years ago with a problem-solving product, which is the Maine hunting shoe, and that, product innovation really needs to lead the charge. Mm-hmm. And there's no shortage of examples like that. Products that keep people warm, keep people dry, keep moisture wicking, mosquito repelling. So most of our product curation starts with the objective to solve a problem. So there's product innovation. In retail in particular, we're doing a bunch of different things around our store design. So this past year we opened 5 stores, 3 of them kind of completely pilot test concepts. So a much smaller store design that we opened in Park City, Utah, in a tourist market. We've gone into a college market in Yale and Madison, Wisconsin, and we've done an urban store in the Seaport District. So I think the innovation happens both in product as well as our store concept, footprint, the assortment that goes in it, and the curation of the experiences that we deliver. And I can talk more about that as it relates to kind of outdoor discovery schools later.
So, but I'm curious, in terms of your concept stores, what are you testing there? What is it about what is it that gives you innovative insight in those pilot stores?
They're really small. I mean, our store fleet varies from 280,000 square feet at our flagship store to 30,000 square feet to our most common footprint, 15,000. And these three pilot stores are in the neighborhood of 8,000 square feet. So you can't carry all of the product or the breadth of product that we do on the web. So we really distill it down to what is a Boston Seaport customer really looking for, both in terms of product and the corresponding experiences the outdoor discovery schools offer. Similarly, in our college markets or in the tourist market. So each of them have a unique and distinct assortment and a unique and distinct store design and a unique and distinct kind of blend of outdoor discovery school offerings that originate from the store.
Cool, thank you. And Julie, what's Hannaford doing around innovation?
Sure. Really, innovation for us is a continual process of understanding our customers' changing needs and really figuring out how we can meet those needs. And we're very focused both on the in-store experience in our physical locations as well as our digital and online experience for our customers, and spending a lot of energy and focus in both of those areas to meet customers' needs. I would say we lean into quite a lot of different avenues to really get that data. So we do a lot of heavy consumer research to understand what our customers want. We pay a lot of attention to consumer feedback and the input that we get from our associates, certainly market data, sales trends, all that sort of information. We look at food trends and different sort of lifestyle trends that are out there to help us really deliver that experience that our customers want. We're always working on the balance. You mentioned new customers and existing customers. We're always working on the balance of how to bring new and exciting concepts to life for our customers while staying very true to the Hannaford brand promise that our customers have come to know and love. Working on a bunch of different innovative things. So if I was speaking about our in-store experience, we're really looking for ways to deliver convenience to customers in meaningful ways. That continues. You hear that term a lot, but it really plays out pretty significantly in what we see customers asking for and where they're putting their dollars. That comes to the form of our Hannaford kitchens. So really working to make meal planning, meal solutions a lot easier. So whether it's grab-and-go solutions like meal kits that we offer, or easier to make at-home products, our handcrafted items in the meat department and seafood, and or whether it's pre-cut vegetables and fruits and things that make it easier, to our Hannaford kitchen, which offers already cooked meals that are ready to eat in store or take home and enjoy, as well as really creating a fun and exciting environment in different parts of the store where we see customers really wanting engagement with associates or with the products. As we think about the technology side of things, we have several areas that we're focused on there. One is certainly our Hannaford To Go offering. So we have 56 locations now with our Hannaford To Go service, which is basically go online and order your groceries and pick them up at your local store. And that service is really rapidly growing for us. Customers are responding well to that. We have our My Hannaford Rewards program, which is the first ever digital rewards program in the supermarket industry, and we offer 2% rewards on all store brand purchases, and we also offer personalized coupon offers. So the more we learn about what matters to you and what you value as a customer, we can provide really engaging experiences with personalized offers. So we have some technology that we're playing with there, and we're also testing. You had mentioned Forest Avenue, which is really a living laboratory for us in a lot of ways, a really great diverse consumer base and a large store for us, so we can experiment and really get fast feedback from customers. And we're looking at a lot of different things there. We have a bunch of concepts in our health and beauty care section right now where we're testing shelves that when you pick up a product, it gives you information about that product, or iPads that you can engage with to learn more about specific health state needs, or engage in those sorts of ways, as well as videos on some of the coolers and components that you can play with in the store. So we're testing a lot of those things to see how customers react to those as well.
Cool. And how about you, Matt?
Again, coming from a different universe,
Right.
for sure, in a lot of ways, I think that we hit on two key phrases there. One is ease, okay? That's the most important term that we as retailers should be focused on, is ease. It's what our customers want. We talked about millennials earlier, and I'm glad that that's the next panel. I have a whole spiel on millennials. And one of my favorite interview questions is to ask, hey, say my kids play this game called Name 5. You name 5 things, it's word association, right? So you say pizza, name 5 things. You name 5 brands of pizza. We say name 5 things with millennials. Almost always you're going to get 5 negative things: selfishness or laziness or entitlement or those types of things, right? Well, I don't want that. I want people to be like the future, right? My paycheck down the road is going to be millennials, right? So we need people to understand that. So how do we get ease? Specifically, what Grove Collaborative happens to be doing is we have our own brand. We're opening our own brand line. We call it our flagship brand. We do all sorts of different types of things, from cool hand sanitizers to essential oils that can go on wool dryer balls to eliminate dryer sheets. So, a little bit of everything, and I think that that's kind of cool as well. The term adulting is a big one for millennials. We want to help millennials adult, and that's one of the things that we're doing at Grove, to be like, hey, this is a cool, easy way for you guys to adult, and it's better for the world too, and that's great. Like, hey, you're doing a cool thing for yourself and your planet. The other big piece, especially in e-com, is that I would be neglecting if I didn't talk about, is logistics. You have to have strong logistics in e-com. That's everything. The companies that are the ones that are surviving are the ones that have figured that out. I came from Wayfair previously before Grove Collaborative, and Wayfair still has yet to officially turn a profit, and they're publicly traded, and that's caused some versatility in their stock price. The reason why is because as soon as they get $1 in, they spend it back out on logistics. They're opening more and more warehouses everywhere, so they can get furniture to you in 2 days. It's all about speed, ease, and that's what's really, really important. So as long as we're innovating and making the process as easy as possible for people, we're doing well. We have a subscription-based model so that you can subscribe and have your tree-free toilet paper and paper towels show up to you every month as you need it. But we also have made it easy so that you can change that to be a ship now only customer. We're not just making customers buy in one way, we're allowing them alternatives. So it's easy. And that's what we're working on all the time, to try to make sure that our customers have that at their fingertips and they know how to do it. But again, having a human being to help them do that, which is, again, I think the big piece that e-com keeps missing is the human element. We all know the big e-com elephant in the room, so I feel bad if anybody works for Amazon, I'm sorry, but try getting someone from Amazon on the phone, man. You can't. You just can't talk to someone there. That's where we hope that we're innovating in that way, saying that it doesn't have to feel like Amazon. It can feel like shopping at your favorite store online with the ease of having a company. So that's what we're doing.
Cool, thank you. And Julie talked about technology a little bit, and Greg and Matt, I want to give you the opportunity to talk about technology as well in the context of innovating for your customers. If there's anything in particular you're doing with technology that makes it easier for your customers.
A couple big beats. We certainly use technology as it relates to product assortment decisions. So we've got a platform that we use where we can get an early read on new product introductions. So essentially a survey goes out to a subset of consumers, and they're able to kind of comment on the functionality, the style, the wearability, everything. So it really enables us to get product to market faster by gleaning upfront insights. We are also in the process right now of replacing the entirety of our point of sale system, front of house and back of house. So a huge capital investment that really is forcing us to make a lot of decisions around, where do we want to position ourselves? I hate the word omni-channel, but it's a reality. How do we want to ensure the store experience mirrors that of the digital experience, and a bunch of choices in terms of that selection. I just was in New York last week at the National Retail Federation annual conference, and the technology out there, it's amazing. And I think the thing that retailers are faced with is, how do you kind of wade through the technology that's out there for technology's sake and really select technologies that are going to add value to the customer experience in a way that's really meaningful. And there was just a lot of examples of things that were kind of interesting, but I've seen them out there for many years, and they're not really being widely adopted. So what are those technologies technologies that are going to really resonate and provide value both for the business and the consumers. That was pretty interesting.
So, of the technology that you're looking at for the point of sale, what you're planning to change, if I go into the flagship store, what will be different?
Really about the ability to have the customer have a single view of inventory, us have a single view of the customer, which is really important, the customer and ourselves to have a single view of inventory and enable the customer to buy online, ship from store, buy in store, ship online, reserve online, pick up in store. It's really enabling the customer to shop kind of any way they want to choose.
And how are you conveying that to the customer? Like, how will I know that I have all those options when I go to the flagship store?
Well, you won't know for about a year and a half because we're in the process of, I was in vendor selection meetings all day, so we've got it down to 3 vendors, and we'll be in the process over the next month making a finer vendor selection, and then implementation will happen sometime around April of next year. So that will have to come in terms of how do we convey all of this functionality.
Cool. And Matt, did you have anything around the technology?
Technology for e-commerce is very important. I think that what I can add, I guess, to this, besides the obvious, is the back-end systems that we're using to help make sure that not only are our customers getting clear answers and quick responses and all those types of things, but we're also keeping track of all the different types of service issues they might have. And I think that's really, really important. You need to have strong systems that back you up. And we're obviously a California company. We're very Silicon Valley in that we use like 30 systems to help us do that. Probably too many at times. But I think that that's one of the things that companies need to keep looking at is what are those great, either SaaS services or other services that are out there that can help you move your customer experience forward. It can't just be a homebrew system that you've kind of made up and just rely on, because there are other people out there that have thought about this, that have made a really, really cool product that can help you do it a lot better and a lot more efficiently for only a few bucks. And that's something that's really important. QA is a big thing for us, obviously. We want to make sure that our customers are having the best possible interaction with everybody they interact with, especially because we're really focusing on that. We want them to be happy. That's my job. So, because of that, we need to make sure that our quality assurance is really, really strong. And if we're not using strong systems to back that quality assurance and we're just doing a homebrew of it, we're not going to have a strong system for that. So I think technology in the back end is equally as important as technology in the front end.
Cool, thank you. So I want to talk a little bit about bricks and mortar, because certainly there's been a lot of attention about the demise of bricks and mortar, but they're still with us. And again, referencing the Merida conference last week, well, you may have seen in our pages this week that the Aroostook Mall and the Bangor Mall are both on the auction block, even though the Bangor Mall has more than 75% occupancy right now. But the business equation behind mall space these days is really shifting. And so that's putting additional pressure on bricks and mortar retailers. For those of you with stores, how are you changing the customer experience in the store? Because I think that, not including millennials, but boomers, we love to go into a store. We like to touch things. We like to shake them. We like to maybe try them on. And so for certainly people of my generation, going to the store is part of the fun of going shopping. And so how are you changing that for these days in this kind of environment?
Sure. So certainly, bricks and mortar gets a lot of conversation about, is it dying? Is it dead? And,
right.
And we certainly would say that it's not. It's just evolving, and we're evolving with it to figure out what do we need to do inside of our stores so that continues to be an exciting experience for our customers. I would say that certainly in our research and findings that yes, baby boomers like to experience in-store shopping, but so do millennials, and we expect Generation Z to actually maybe even enjoy that a little bit more than the millennials. But shopping in-store continues to be really important to customers. They want to touch and feel the products, no matter really what the category is. There is a desire to have that in-person experience with the products that you're selecting and choosing to purchase. So we find that our customers still very overwhelmingly choose to shop in traditional ways of coming in the store to grab their groceries, and we'll continue to find ways to deliver them in an omni-channel type experience as well. But in terms of the in-store experience, what my team and I and our broader organization really focus on is where do customers want engagement and theater and the excitement in the store? And let's put our investment and our focus there. And in all the rest of the places, let's provide convenience and make it easy to grab, get what you want, and get back out. So we really work hard to understand those specific areas that are most important to customers.
How do you get that information?
Yeah, so we certainly get a lot of information from our consumer research. We do a lot of surveying and panels and walkthroughs with customers so that we can really get into sort of the minds and feelings of our customers and how they're experiencing our stores and what they want more of and less of. So we do a pretty significant amount of consumer research for that. And the living laboratories that I spoke of just really using our stores as pilots and proof of concept testing to see what our customers react to is a big part of the learning curve for us. So we really dig into that pretty deeply. We find the areas of certain focus for us will remain where customers want a little bit more engagement. So our meat cutters in our stores is really important for our customers to be able to talk to a meat cutter about what type of roast they should purchase or what kind of steak they should have or whatever meal or occasion that they're planning. And certainly we have in-store pharmacies, full-service pharmacies, where our customers can engage with pharmacists to talk about their medical conditions, and we have a lot of services there that are important to engagement for customers, and really different points around the store. So we're continuing to evolve our store layout and the ways in which we place products together so that customers can get the most enjoyment out of their shopping experience, as well as our product assortment, which is ever evolving to really meet the changing needs of consumers and food tastes and different trendy profiles that customers love to be able to sort of look at and touch in store before they purchase. So, cool, a little bit.
How about you, Greg?
Yeah, there's a striking amount of similarities between LB and Hanford when you really think about the customer experience. For me, it starts with, world-class service starts with enabling great self-service. And there's a lot of elements to that, from how the store is designed to how clear the signage is, how easy it is to navigate the store, the quality of the hang tags, all of those things that are important to the customer. The second thing around that is ease and speed of kind of the transaction has become a table stake, particularly with the new consumer and their expectations and their impatience. So those are things that have really changed over the course of the last 3 to 5 years that you've got to ensure self-service and ease and speed of kind of all things transactional. From there, it's really about the store as we think about it in terms of the ability for the customer to learn, try, buy, and enjoy. And again, I think as Julie said, the customer's often done a copious amount of research by the time that they come to the store, but they really want to come to the store to engage with the product, learn more about it, but most importantly, really talk to an expert, a credible expert that has used the product, understands the product, and can help them kind of safely use the product in their outdoor pursuits. And then lastly, I'm sure you've read a lot about this whole movement from people are buying less things and spending more on experiences. And we're certainly seeing that firsthand at Beans. And our outdoor discovery schools in stores enable us to provide courses, trips, tours, clinics, demos that, again, really create that virtuous circle of you get a customer that comes in and that's curious about snowshoeing. We get them out into a no-cost or low-cost outdoor discovery school snowshoeing activity. They come back to the store, hopefully purchase the snowshoes, and now they've become a lifetime snowshoer. So I think those are really the elements of brick and mortar advantage that we're seeing and that we're leveraging.
I'm just curious, Matt, so you're totally online. Do you consider bricks and mortar stores that sell similar products as Grove Collaborative, are they your competitors? How do you see bricks and mortar in the context of a totally online company?
I was in renewable energy before I got into e-com, and one of my favorite lines I ever heard was we were in wood biomass fuel by wood pellets. We said we need to not fear the oil industry. We need to bear hug it. We want to bear hug the brick and mortar industry as well. And I think that, for us, it's not a competition thing. Hannaford sells Meyer soap. Hannaford sells Method and 7th Generation. We're proud to offer those brands. We're just offering it differently. And I think that that's, we keep hearing the word experience. It's a big one, obviously. I think that we all understand and know. What is the experience of that? And I think that, if you look at the stats, and we can argue about this because there are different ones out there, e-com generally only accounts for 12% of purchases, okay? 12%. We are a real small sliver of purchasing in the United States. We're growing for sure, and I think that when you look at Black Friday stats, it's the biggest Black Friday ever for e-com. It's still a sliver compared to brick and mortar. So again, not necessarily competition, other than we just need to figure out how to be as again that same experience that you get in e-com. You get in brick and mortar. We need to be able to provide that to people, and that's a real challenge. E-commerce is like a giant shopping mall. If you're looking for a basketball, and you go into the mall, there might be 2 stores that sell a basketball. So you're going to choose that store because of the experience or because you've been there before or whatever. Well, e-commerce is like walking into a mall with 500 stores that all sell the same basketball. Well, which site are you going to go to? The first one in the door, the one that has the best display, maybe the one that is advertising a big sale, maybe. But we need to figure out what that is. Honestly, our competitors are other e-com sites, and that's the world that we're living in. Brick and mortar, and I love that you said it's evolving. That's exactly what it is. It's not going away. It never will. We will always need some sort of brick and mortar presence because there are some things you just don't want to buy without seeing, touching, or feeling it. I think that what we're doing is not trying to compete there, but again, kind of bear hug that to say, hey, we are another way to get this stuff. You might run out of soap, and it might take 4 days for you to get it from Grove. So no, I'm going to go to Hannaford and pick it up because I'm out of soap, and my kid just made a big mess. I just did that this last week, by the way. I think that the other piece is that we can say, hey, some of the other stuff we can take off your plate for you by having that delivered. And that's what the Hannaford order grocery ahead thing is all about. If you know what you need ahead of time, get that taken care of, and the brick and mortar can be the other. I guess I'm sure they see us as competition. I don't right now because I think that we're still the little guy in the room, just like I'm the little guy in the panel. We need to be able to be self-aware of that and be super conscious about how we can make that better every day, and that's what e-com has to do. So honestly, there's still a big mountain to climb, and I don't think people really realize that we're just getting started with this, but it's interesting.
But you're the millennial, so you're the future.
Look, right? I'm a millennial by like 3 months, okay? So I've been arguing this as well. I just think that, in Generation, I'm glad you brought up Generation Z too, because no one's thinking about that. You need to be thinking about your customer 20 years from now, not your customer today. And if you're not, you're going to go out of business. I guarantee it. And I think that that's something that we all need to be looking at and thinking about in all of our collective, work spheres. To say, okay, what can we be doing for that next generation today, so that when they hit the market, they're like, oh yeah, I know those guys. They're great. My kids, I guarantee, they already wear LL Bean jackets to school every day, and they wear LL Bean boots. My grandkids will be wearing LL Bean jackets and LL Bean boots, and that's because of the work LL Bean did 100 years ago to set that up. If e-com is going to have that sort of staying power, we have got to figure out a way to be innovative with everything that we offer from that experience realm that we're not already. And again, I think that the burden is not on brick and mortar to maintain. It's on e-com to figure out a way to be relevant long term.
Carol, I think the brick and mortar retailers that are really surviving and not just surviving but thriving are those that are very clear both about who their customer is and their kind of distinguishing characteristics of their brand. The fallout that we're seeing is really kind of in the middle. I think on the entry level, price brands continue to do fairly well. The high end continues to do fairly well, but it's those brands in the middle that I think really struggle to identify and leverage their distinguishing characteristics are the ones that I think are really kind of paying the price out there right now.
Cool, thank you. So now let's talk a little bit about challenges. Any business operating today has a whole host of challenges in front of them. And so if you would talk a little bit about the challenges that you see from your vantage point, and maybe offer an example of a recent challenge and how you addressed it, that would, I think, be helpful for us looking forward. So Julie, why don't you start that one?
Sure. There's never a shortage of challenges. It's called job security, I think. But certainly, actually, Greg alluded to one earlier, and one of the big challenges I know that my team faces and that we're facing at Hannaford is the physical constraints of brick and mortar and what we're able to do there. So we have a store like Forest Avenue that's exceptionally large, and we can fit just about everything that we'd like to fit inside that store. I'm sure we could always come up with new things, but relatively speaking, we can fit all that we need to fit in there. As we move forward and look for new locations and where to expand and what communities fit really well with the Hannaford brand promise, that will put us into a lot smaller boxes in the future and smaller stores, and our ability to fit everything inside a smaller store is really difficult. So we have to make a lot of choices and lean into what we believe customers want the most and what speaks the best to the strategy that we're trying to deliver. You can certainly see that here between how we delivered our shopping experience at Forest Avenue versus North Berwick, for example, or Mechanic Falls, and how we're able to deliver that experience in a smaller way. And so that continues to be a challenge, and we work hard to understand the reaction to the assortment choices that we make, and you have to sometimes refine and change some things. Specific to those space constraints and how that even impacts our online business would be Hannaford To Go. When we first launched that service, it was a drive-through service, right? So you order your groceries online, you drive through the store, basically you pull up right alongside the store, you speak through a call box to let the associates know that you're there, and they step right out the building to your car and place your groceries in your car. As that rapidly expanded, we found pretty quickly that not all of our stores certainly have the ability to have a drive-through, right? There's stores that many of you may shop at that have businesses on either side, or the parking lot just doesn't allow for that sort of drive-through addition. And so in order to be able to keep expanding this, we've had to be innovative in finding new and creative ways to still meet that demand. So an example of a solution would be some of our store locations with Hannaford To Go, you'll find have Hannaford To Go parking lots, spaces dedicated for that consumer, and you simply pull into the space, you call on your cell phone, and let the Hannaford To Go associates know that you're there, and they have a designated path from the building to that parking space to bring your groceries out to you. But certainly those physical constraints can impact us both online and in the store.
Cool. And Greg, how about you?
Two challenges. The one is, how do you continue to, from a marketing standpoint, how do we continue to develop innovative, disruptive, and scalable marketing campaigns to certainly cater to our existing buyers and bring new buyers into the brand? So that would be, kind of priority number one, if you will. So things that we do there, you're probably familiar with the national ad campaign that we run, whether that was the flannel football ad in the fall or the holiday advertising that we run. So we continue to really focus on really creative, innovative, and disruptive things there. And I think, the key is innovation. So whether it's the Bootmobile, our mobile selling unit, how we brought Be an Outsider to work last year in Manhattan and Chicago and in other places, where we're partnering with another agency. In this case, it was Industrious, a mobile office type operation, and really bringing creative ideas where you can take work in the outdoors and LLB and really to a marketing concept with scale.
So how did you do that? You brought a mobile retail unit into the depths of Chicago, and what did you do?
We went right into Bryant Park in Manhattan with an outdoor workspace and offered the Manhattanites to take a break, get out of the office, bring your meeting outside, and really work outdoors. And the notion that people that spend time in the outdoors are happier and more productive, really, coming to life as that tour went to a bunch of metropolitan areas. So it's really the whole notion of our core mission is to get people into the outdoors, coupled with these urban workspaces. So really, just an example of a really innovative and disruptive marketing idea, and the intensity that we place on those kind of things. So that would be, certainly a priority and a challenge around the marketing side. And then I'm sure the other one would naturally be the decision that we made around changing our returns process and guarantee, which was about a year ago. So I'm sure that question would come up, but that was a significant decision that we made due to kind of the changing landscape and customer behaviors. A very tough decision that was thoughtfully considered for a couple of years and is now coming up on the 1-year anniversary.
And what's been the result of that? Have you been able to measure from the change in your return policy?
Oh, absolutely. I would say overwhelmingly positive support to it. Have we lost some customers as a result? Yeah, absolutely. But the modeling that we did in advance of the decision has proven to be very, very accurate. So in total, certainly a good thing for the brand and just a necessary decision that we needed to do.
Well, for anyone who's ever stood in line at LL Bean to return something, you would see people ahead of you bringing these slippers that were worn to thread and say, "Oh, I want a new pair," and think, "What?" So I think that most Mainers are behind you on that change because we're basically people with integrity and don't abide by that. So
exactly.
Good for you.
It does.
Yes, a little editorializing here. Okay, so Matt, how about challenges in your world?
All of them? Too many to number. E-com's biggest challenge is getting a second purchase. That's the indicator. Any metric that you look at, that's the indicator whether or not you have a customer that's going to stay with you. It's relatively easy in some e-commerce spheres to get your first customer because of, again, that shopping mall analogy I gave you. If you just offer free stuff or whatever, great discount, you'll get a customer the first time. How do you get them again? And that's the key. So our biggest challenge is figuring out what our customers want to have that second purchase. Once they've made that second purchase, we feel like they're then kind of in the family, and then they'll stick with you and continue purchasing moving forward. So that's the biggest challenge any e-com company will tell you that they face. On a larger sense, I think that for us, it's, again, especially given our mission, and again, this is, again, very, very Grove collaborative answer, so I apologize, it's very siloed, but for us, we want to make sure that we're practicing what we preach. A lot of it has to do with packaging. We offer dish soap in large refillable containers. Well, they come in these packets that most folks can't recycle. Unless you have TerraCycling at your house, you can't recycle it. So we'll offer to send you a return label. We'll pay for the return label for you to mail it back to us, for us to then go ahead and recycle that packet for you. And little things like that we can be doing to try to, again, practice what we preach, to reduce as much waste as humanly possible, and those types of things. So I think that's always going to be an issue for us. The other, I think, just on a larger sense from a consumer packaged goods standpoint, I'm sure you all have a certain type of detergent you've used, and probably your parents used it, and your parents' parents used it, and they're banking on that being the case. Those companies are relying on, like, use it because you've always used it. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, and that's their pitch. We're saying, hey, we have some other cool things that might, with ingredients you might be able to pronounce that you want to use with your family, and that's something that we feel very strongly about. So I think that's a big hurdle for us as well, is doing something new, doing something different. My favorite line, it's a very Grove line, is conscientious choices are not just for the few. I truly believe that. We all need to be making conscientious choices every day. And I think that even if it's a little one, like and when I go to Hannaford, instead of buying the detergent I've always used, I'm going to try out the 7th generation one. It's made in Vermont. It's all natural products. I'm going to give that one a whirl. And I think that's really, really cool. So I think those are the three kind of challenges I see on our end.
So I'm just curious, are you seeing a broader sort of demographic of customer coming to Grove Collaborative? Like, so traditionally, in my family, you use the same product generation after generation. So what is it that gets me to try 7th generation, and how do you as a company sort of provide that incentive?
Yep. Two things. One, for I'm going to sound ageist, so I apologize.
That's okay. I'm used to it.
For our boomers, okay, we're using a lot of our boomers are actually on Facebook, and they love Facebook. So that's been one of our key marketing channels. We use what are called influencers, so folks that just literally just talk about the stuff that they like to do. They certainly get a kickback for the types of things that they advertise. Like, that's how they make money. But at the end of the day, they're listening and watching people use this thing that they see and trust. Again, building that experience and building that trust. The other piece to this is our millennial gap that we're saying. This goes back to my adulting comment. It's time for us to grow up and use things that make our home feel better and that make our lives a little bit more natural and clean and those types of things. So we're trying to kind of help them understand that, like, it does matter what you choose. You should be thoughtful about what the ingredients say on the back. You shouldn't shop from an online retailer that doesn't list them. One of the things that we do, we talk about animal testing. That's a big one for us, right? None of our products are tested on animals. We believe in that. We have dogs walking around the office, man. We couldn't do that and then say, oh, by the way, we like test this stuff on bunnies. That doesn't work. So for us, we want to make sure that it's very clear that that's the case. We want new shoppers to be looking for that type of thing. If we're making that awareness and raising that awareness, that conscientious choice becomes a little bit easier.
Cool. Great. Well, we're right at the Q&A part of the morning. So are there any questions out there? Yes, right here, Arthur.
You're supposed to wait for the mic?
It's right there.
So there are two very different shopping experiences that I want, and I want to ask to what extent you're trying to, in what ways to accommodate both, or whether my characterization is at all typical or if I'm just an oddball. On the one extreme, I know exactly what I want. I want a hassle-free path to get it. I want a replacement ink or toner for my printer. I want a replacement tent pole for an LLB tent. I want a jar of salt-free salsa, if such a thing exists. And I don't know if it does. On the other extreme, I really need help deciding what I want. I don't know a thing about snowshoes, but I expect that there are people at LL Beans who use them and have experiences and opinions. I want to get olive oil for a certain purpose. The clerks at Hannaford probably don't know that much about olive oil, but the people at McCucci's do. I'm trying to fix my toilet. Maine Hardware has retired plumbers who can show me exactly, in fact, they want to show me exactly how my toilet works and what parts I should probably adjust or replace. So am I an oddball wanting to, I'm not characterizing it as online bricks and mortar. I'm characterizing it as hassle-free straight line and an informative social experience that will both educate me and lead me to a useful purpose.
I don't think you're unusual at all. So I think that's the good news. Really, again, kind of something that I said earlier, there's a use case where you want just frictionless ease and speed. And how does the retailer offer you that up? Whether you choose to go to a store, you're going to want something really fast, or whether you want to go onto a website, you're going to want something really fast and really easy. So, it's dependent on the retailer to ensure whatever channel you choose to do that in, it's easy for you. So that's the first thing. And then, the other is, again, where you want some expertise, you need to have somebody that's there, somebody that's knowledgeable, somebody that's passionate, and somebody that's going to be able to help you solve your problem. And my example there is my local Ace Hardware. I mean, I can walk in there, there's a red shirt right inside the door, and no matter what my problem is, there's somebody there that's going to move me quickly to either the product or, walk me through the solution. And I think as retailers, we're going to need to be able to deliver on kind of both ends of that spectrum consistently.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that explains the average consumer really well. We all have different need states at different times that we're shopping, so it's very typical for us to have customers who today want to get in and out really quickly with a specific need, and tomorrow want to spend time browsing and talking and engaging in a different way. And so we're constantly trying to meet both ends of those spectrums and find the right ways to do that, to meet our consumer needs. I think of solutions that we have for that in and out. Certainly we're exploring things like automatic replenishment that I think that you referred to, of things just sort of automatically reappearing for your printer, so to speak. In the food business, we're experimenting with understanding what that would look like, as well as just making the in-store experience easier. So having those convenience grab-and-go items close to the door so that you can get in and quickly grab those high-frequency purchase items and go through a self-scan and get back out really quickly if that's the speed that you're looking for. As well as Hannaford To Go, you can build your shopping basket. We have a lot of consumers have pretty repeat purchases. I think some of you can probably relate to that. I know I certainly can. And so you can have that shopping basket saved for you right online, copy it right into your basket and purchase it without even making any adjustments with just a couple of clicks. So we have those sort of things available. In terms of on the other spectrum of engaging, we pinpoint those areas where we feel like there's the most customer need. So certainly our meat cutters and our service associates who are able to really talk to you about the products, certainly in our deli departments, and able to work with you on entertainment options and platters and things like that. Certainly we have our pharmacists who are available for that, and we also have dietitians in many of our stores who can really speak to you about certain nutritional needs or questions that you have really from any spectrum of nutrition and that profession. So we pick and choose those spots, and we continue to evolve that and meet the needs of customers as they shift.
Yeah, I guess the only thing to add, you're not an oddball. Everything you just mentioned is exactly what our company tries to do. We have automatic subscriptions. We have guides, literally, to talk on the phone to like walk you through, like, what the heck is this? Like, I don't know what that product is. We agree 100% all across the board on this. I think there's one thing that. There's a book. I'm a big reader, so I make a recommendation to you. It's a book called Story Brand. It's by Donald Miller, and he talks all about how who the hero of the story is for a customer. A lot of companies think the hero is them or their salespeople. They're the hero for their customer. It's categorically false. Okay, the hero is the consumer. We, as the company, need to be the guide, need to be the helper in that story, right? We're the coach in Rudy, right? We're the landscaper in Rudy. We're the one telling Rudy, like, you can do this. Here's how you do this. And we're not going to be Rudy. We're not going to be running out of the tunnel, but we're going to be clapping when they get there, right? And that's what we need to be as part of the story. So that's why we've entitled all of our representatives guides, because we need to be really, really strong guides in that case. If you're not feeling as if you're being guided or helped or assisted, well, frankly, it shouldn't be a very good shopping experience for you, and you're probably not going to stick around. So that's something that I think we all agree needs to stick on.
Will you please join me in thanking our panelists this morning? Thank you very much. Come back on February 27th when we look at the impact of young people buying new homes.